Hey guys, we're Philly and Keely, and this is our Home on Wheels Martha.
So we just wanted to jump on here with you guys and share some of the information we wish we knew before we came to Croatia. We didn't look into Croatia until we were already almost there, and then we heard all these horror stories about how it's impossible to wild camp, it's illegal, you'll get fines, and the more and more we tried to look into it, the less and less information we felt like we found. And in the end, we were really anxious and stressed when we got there. So we don't want you guys to feel like that. So we're on here to share information with you to let you know our experience of what it was like and the truth about wild camping in Croatia.
Who are these guys?
Who? Us?
Top-notch couple, eh?
So not only the stuff we wanted to know, but we reached out and asked you guys what type of stuff would you want to know before coming to Croatia, and we got a lot of feedback. So we're going to try and cram all of this information into this video. Start with some of the stuff that we didn't realise people would actually care about.
So number one, the weather.
Yeah. So we came, for context, in September and October. We spent 2 full months in Croatia. So disclaimer, all the information we have is only about our experience in the time that we were there. We can't confirm nor deny what summer or winter is like. But you can find information about all the seasons pretty easy online. But some of the things that I would say that you don't see online is, one, it's very windy in Croatia in ways that we weren't expecting. Like, there were a lot of days we wanted to fly the drone and we couldn't, and there were wind warnings sometimes at night, and it was just something that we hadn't expected to experience. So there's just one little, be warned type thing.
Another thing we noticed was about the rain. So it was sunny the majority of the time, but when a storm did hit, it's dead grey for like a constant 3 or 4 days, and it rained constantly. There was no uplift, so just be wary of that.
It's not like in the UK when it rains a wee bit and then stops a wee bit and rains a wee bit. There's no cloud breaks, so if you're dependent on solar, just to be mentally aware that that is something you might need to factor in and consider another way to get your power over those few days. And another thing is, people say that mosquito season is over in summer, and that is a big fat lie.
Nope.
Like, mosquitoes were there the whole of September, the whole of October, and they were pretty big. I thought they were big in Spain. They're bigger in Croatia.
Yeah, and I developed my number one pet peeve now. Not even a pet peeve, it's just like when you're sleeping and you're woken up by that. It scares the life out of me, and then that's it. I can't sleep. I have to stay awake for like an hour trying to find the mosquitoes and exterminate them.
So they're just a few things that we noticed about the weather that you can't find online.
And another random thing that people ask about were shops and supermarkets. It's exactly the same as they are in Spain, France. Like, you've got your equivalent to Tesco's. They've got Lidl's everywhere. I'm gonna find the exact same stuff, pretty much, apart from like 1 or 2 things. Like what? What have you been looking for?
Oh my word! If you're in the UK and you haven't left yet, stock up on tea bags and stock up on gravy. I swear you can't find that stuff
Gravy?
here. Okay, tea bags and gravy.
And pesto.
Everything else you can pretty much find. And for the vegans out there, if you're looking some weird fancy vegan stuff, it'll be pretty hard to find in most shops, but there's a big place called Kaufland. I'll link the video here where we went and found loads of stuff in it. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, shops are just like everywhere.
So on to the next topic, we wanted to talk about some van and driving related stuff. So there's a couple of questions that people asked about that we didn't actually think about either. So let's get on to that.
One of the first things people asked us about was the quality of the roads and were there any tolls?
Yeah, generally the roads were perfect. They were great. Whether you're taking a toll road, yes, there are tolls. Whether you're taking a toll road or you're taking just like a scenic route along the cliffs, the roads were great. Unless you were going to like a park for a night that's down in the forest somewhere, and it's like you need a 4x4 to get there, but that's like anywhere. Sometimes taking a toll road can be a double-edged sword. Obviously you take a toll road because you want to get to somewhere quicker, but sometimes, dependent on the journey and the stretch of the country that you're going through, the scenic route might be like maybe only 5 or 10 minutes in it, and you see a lot more beautiful views, whether it's like over the ocean or through a forest or something. So I think taking a toll road is a trip by trip basis, and generally the toll roads were pretty inexpensive comparatively to France.
Some of our best views were on like scenic routes instead, and I wanted to take the drone up all the time, but the stupid wind meant I couldn't, but hopefully we got some cool drone shots sometimes. Drivers
seem to be pretty universal. People have road rage, and it's the exact same in Croatia. I think because we drive a van, it's a conversion, there's lots of stuff everywhere, so we drive pretty slow all the time, that people get impatient with us and want to overtake us on bends or with oncoming traffic. But that's just the same everywhere. We've experienced that in every country that we've went to, so same.
Another thing people asked under the van driving category was about the price of fuel, and on average when we were there the price of fuel was 10.1, which is £1.15, which is a lot cheaper than it is in the UK right now. Much cheaper than like France and Italy and stuff, but Spain is still even cheaper than that. But fuel wasn't that bad, it was just to be expected. It was pretty easy to fill up, pretty much everywhere took card for fuel, which was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, no issue there. And the other thing people asked about was mechanics. So off the back of saying that fuel was cheaper than the UK, mechanics were also a lot cheaper than the UK.
And we have experience with it.
We had 2 big experiences at the mechanics, and I would just say they seem really transparent, like genuinely honest about stuff. That's just our experience. The labour's a lot cheaper. The labour's about £20 an hour in Croatia from what we could gather from our itemised bills. And parts seem about 20% cheaper than we'd seen them for in the UK. So overall, if your van's going to break down somewhere and you're in Italy, just blast across the border. Do it in Croatia. It's a lot cheaper.
Just coast into Croatia and you'll be fine.
So yeah, that's our experience with that. So apart from the general stuff, some van related and driving things, another topic that people asked us about, which we hadn't considered, was the social aspect. So before we get into the wild camping, we'll touch on a couple of things to do with that.
First thing to think about is the language barrier, because obviously English isn't their first spoken language in Croatia. When I say that, everybody speaks English. We had no trouble at any point with anybody to do with the language, and any times that we there was a language barrier, you can act stuff out. There's Google Translate, so there was nothing really to worry about there.
The only time we had an experience where it was complete language breakdown was with the tow truck when our van broke down, but even that we ended up texting each other using Google Translate, but person to person, literally seamless.
Everybody is fart smones. Everybody has fart smones. I want one of those. Everybody has smartphones now, so they have access to WhatsApp, they have access to Google Translate, so it's a non-issue really.
Yeah.
Just use your noggin.
And that segues into locals. People asked what were the local people like. Genuinely, we had like no negative experiences.
Beauties.
Yeah, in Croatia, like everyone was just really sound and inquisitive. They tend to like look at you and you think they want to talk or they don't want to talk. They're just like looking at you.
But like a good stare.
Yeah, but everyone was dead on. I just want to shout out to Dan, Darko, loads of different random people from Croatia that were so kind and so generous, and loads of people reached out and offered help and stuff when there was issues with our van. So genuinely, locals are very lovely.
Yeah, you have no idea how much we appreciate all of your help.
And the other social aspect was other van lifers.
Oh, so other van lifers. So we got there in September, so summer was practically over, but there was still a lot of German travellers as well. Contrary to what social media would have you know, is that the demographic for like van lifers in Croatia were all over the place. So we did see a lot of younger people, but we've seen a lot of older people as well. Some like retired people, lots of RVs, camper vans in all different shapes and sizes, which is awesome.
I'd say like 80% of them were older, more fancy camper vans than like filthy mingers like us.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's in Spain there was a lot of like hippy dippy, like laid back vibes, whereas in Croatia it felt like a lot more like organised, if you know what I mean, which I suppose kind of segues into the wild camping aspect, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's definitely not the place for like dirty hippies. It's more like the place for people who
are holidaying
in a like proper RV and want stuff. That's kind of like the vibe of van lifer. But in saying that, we did meet a few dirt bags as well.
Like us, dirt bags.
just not as many as you'd expect, and not as many young people and not as many full timers. It was very much felt like a holiday destination than a life place. Would you say so?
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think that comes under one of the next categories, which is wild camping.
Yeah, so we'll segue into that main one. That's what you're all here for. The truth about what it was like when we were wild camping. What's the truth?
The truth! You can't handle the truth.
The truth is, it was way easier than the internet let us think it was.
Yeah, and now I think this is a hard topic to broach. This is just a hard topic to talk about because everybody's mileage is going to vary here. We travelled, as you know, in September and October, but I would say that if you're traveling in the middle of summer.
Oh, so when you said mileage varies, you meant like experience?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get that. I was like, why are you talking about mileage?
I think even police presence and people getting moved on from park ups would happen more so in the summer, because you've got a lot more traffic, you've got a lot more people travelling around and parking up in random places. Whereas when we were there, a lot of the time it was just us and maybe another camper in some of the spots that we parked up in. And in saying that, I don't think we've seen the police once in Croatia.
No, I was going to say that as well. So, well, I was going to say that later, but we'll just talk about safety quickly now, saying we've segued into it. There wasn't really a police present in Croatia at all, but in saying that, it really felt like one of the safest places we'd been to.
I would say the safest country that I've felt.
Yeah. Serbia might be topping it.
Yeah.
So far, so I'd say so far.
So far, yeah. Wait for our Serbia summary next week.
But
it's not going to be next week.
Considering the amount of horror stories we'd read about fines from police, we didn't see police. You know, like we just didn't.
And I think that also comes down to making sure that when you park up, you're not being obnoxious, you're parking somewhere discreet, and you're not just like parking in the middle of the road and hopping in your bed, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like having your wits about you as well.
Yeah, like don't go to super mainstream places. Some of our best park ups were like really like tucked away in the backs of islands and stuff. If you want to know some of our favourite park ups, we're considering doing a video about it. So if you want to know some of our top wild camping spots, like let us know down in the comments. We could make a video specifically about wild camping park ups. But this is just about the realities of what it was really like. And genuinely, there weren't that many police. I know some people have had issues with it. Obviously, you mentioned on Park for Night. If you imagine all the times you personally have probably stayed at a park for night and not left a comment, but if the police came and found you, obviously you would go on and be like, here guys, the police find me.
Most people only share their negative experiences because they don't want other people to experience that.
But that doesn't mean that out of the 5 people that have went there, 3 of them have had police. There's probably 1,000 people that have stayed there. You know, so just to read stuff with a pinch of salt. And again, just trust your gut. And if you've got like vibes about somewhere and you're like, oh, I don't know, this feels a bit weird, then just don't park there. There's plenty of places to park in Croatia. Also,
if there's a restaurant or something, you can just ask. Sometimes the restaurants let you stay over in their car park overnight, so you can just ask. There's no harm.
So whenever we first realised that wild camping was illegal and we're coming here, we reached out to like quite a few people that I seen that were in Croatia. So many people were just not wild camping. They were just paying, there's places you can go from like £10 or whatever, and it's just staying on a farmer's land. So it was really hard for us to find information about wild camping and what it was like, and I'm just really grateful to the few people who said they were doing it and that it was okay and they'd been doing it for a couple of weeks. And we're here to tell you that we did it almost exclusively, like 95% of our time in Croatia was wild camping for 2 whole months. And we're happy to confirm that it is possible, it is safe. Just don't be a dick.
That's just the kind of life motto that you have to live by.
Yeah, like don't be obnoxious.
Especially in a van, because usually 9 times out of 10 when you're parking somewhere you're trespassing. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, and it's not like Spain and France and stuff where they have airs. It is illegal to wild camp in Croatia, so just be mentally prepared that they don't have facilities for it. There's no airs for like camper van waste disposal. They expect everyone to go to campsites, and in saying that, not only is that the case for water and water disposal, but it's also the case for rubbish.
Yeah, there was times that we were driving around for a couple of days with 3 bin bags full of rubbish.
Yeah, like you would find recycling bins long before you would find rubbish bins, so that's just something to be aware of.
Until you get to certain parts, so like in Dubrovnik, in the lower part of Croatia, there was bins everywhere. There was big dumpsters everywhere, so we didn't have a problem there. But yeah, a lot of the north of Croatia didn't have any dumpsters or bins, just like public ones, but you don't want to put a big rubbish bag in a small waste bin.
But even the public ones, yeah, there were the really, really small ones, like literally letterbox, or there would be ones where you had to have like a special key. There were lots of ones that were like locked. They must be for locals and they get a key or something. But yeah, it's definitely very different than Spain. You know, it really was much harder to get rid of stuff. Van lifers get a bad name for leaving litter everywhere. Obviously, everyone we know that lives in a van leaves no trace. But
Well, a lot of the time it was me finding the park ups. So I was reading a lot of park burnouts, and a lot of people do complain about that it's a really, like, people have left loads of rubbish there. But then when we go to it's not so bad, or like literally when you get up to a park up, just take a bag out and lift a bag full of rubbish, and there you go. You've left it better than you found it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a really simple thing to do.
Even though you'll be driving around with it for days.
Just talking about facilities and amenities while you're wild camping. So as we said about water's hard to find. You can find water taps and stuff on beaches, as well as showers on beaches, or at the start of hikes you can find water taps, and some campsites do allow you to fill up your water tanks and dump your wastewater for free, or maybe for like $1 or $2.
Yeah, so as he says, there's water taps at the beginning of hikes and stuff, but just to be aware, they're literally only for filling up drinking water bottles. You're not going to come across somewhere with a giant hose to fill up your van.
True.
So it's not available. It's like the UK in that way. It's not set up for wild camping or anything.
And if you're stuck, you can grab like a 5-litre bottle of water from Lidl to tide you over while you find your next spot.
Yeah. So under the amenities of wild camping, there's also showers, toilets and laundry. So with the reference of toilets, quite a few people had asked me what's it like to empty your toilet. It's literally, if you have a chemical toilet, we don't have one.
What do you mean a toilet? There's a bush around the back of the van there. Dig a hole.
It's literally impossible. You will have to go to a campsite to empty your toilet. Like, there's just no facilities for it at all. But there's lots of public toilets and stuff, so if you don't have a toilet in your van, then you'll be able to find toilets just like normal.
Yeah, pubs, restaurants, on the beach there's public toilets, so you'll always be able to do that. And on the showering front as well, obviously Croatia is home to like the clearest waters on the planet. You can swim every day, everywhere. There's lakes inland, there's the beaches just like peppered down the coast. Just have a salty bath. It's great.
There's also showers actually on a lot of the beaches as well, you know.
There is, but like, you want that sweet nature's salt all over your body. Last thing quickly is the laundry as well. So there's laundromats just like there is in Spain, all over Europe, the UK. You can go to a laundromat.
Link to video of us
Yeah,
feeling at a laundromat. But what we would say is, based on all of that and the fact that there aren't really amenities set up, there probably will realistically be times you just need to go to a campsite. For example, if you have a chemical toilet, you will 100% have to go to a campsite.
Which brings us on to our next and last topic, campsites.
Yeah, so if you don't feel comfortable trying to wild camping because you know it's illegal, or you just don't want to put yourself through that stress, then campsites are obviously a very easy option. We stayed at a campsite I think 5 times during our time here, because we both work remotely, so we needed solar power, and it was in one of those overcast periods. And then there was a few times when we first got, we felt really anxious and didn't want to stress about the fear of wild camping, but hopefully you guys don't have that same fear.
Well,
hopefully we've alleviated that for you, so you don't feel the anxiety.
Very good.
But sometimes, for peace of mind, for wanting to spread out, for using the utilities, a campsite is pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah, and the campsites can cost anywhere between €15 right up until you can name your price.
Yeah, like
Pretty
40,
much.
50, 60 euros. We've
But
seen
just
some
know-
expensive ones.
Just know that if you're on a budget, you can get a campsite for 15 to 20 euros.
Yeah, you can. It's possible.
Easy. And that covers all of your normal amenities.
And another thing about campsites, because we installed our shore power in Spain.
Oh, yeah.
Link to video wherever it is. Thinking that we would need the 3-prong whenever we needed to go to a campsite. Turns out that's not really the case.
Yes, most campsites have the 3-prong, that big 3-prong adapter, but also can plug in just a normal European 2-prong plug as well. If you just have a European extension lead, a lot of the times the campsite will also have just like a little converter that goes from the 2 plug to the 3 plug. I don't know what's happening here. Another one thing about campsites is if you want any information about the area, go into the campsite reception. Usually they have maps, or they can let you know about local bus routes or anything like that to get into the surrounding areas. They sometimes have boat rental or anything rental.
Yeah, I would say
What would you say?
I would say that
No way!
the one time we definitely recommend a campsite is Dubrovnik, because that was where we found the €15 one, and it means that your van's parked there all day and you can just get the bus into Dubrovnik. So I would say that about pretty much any country, anywhere. If you're planning to do a city day, maybe for peace of mind, I mean, we're weirdos and we park in cities all the time, but for a lot of people it would give you peace of mind to be at a campsite. And that's just a little piece of info. So Croatia is super beautiful. We definitely recommend visiting it, but just be aware that wild camping, even though it is completely and utterly possible and easy to park up in our opinion, the amenities and day-to-day life of its stuff is very, very difficult. It's not set up for it. So just factor that in when you're deciding how long to stay here. We stayed for 2 full months. We loved it. It's very stressful. We did a full month of daily videos of Croatia, so we have a lot of Croatia content. So if you want to go back and check it out, we'll put the playlist up here. But if there's anything else you want to know about it, please let us know down in the comments. If there's any more information that would make you feel better about coming, or anything you think we should add, please let us know down in the comments. And we just wanted to make this a useful resource for you. Hopefully that you find it informative, and we just wanted to make you guys not be stressed like we were, and hopefully you enjoyed it.
You're so nice. Stop being so nice. She's not like this all the time.
I'm a bitch.
Whoa.
Sorry, I said the B word.
Don't drop the B word. Yes, guys. Thank you so much. Croatia, thank you so much for having us as well. I'm sure we will be back at some point. But yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.